So, backing tracks. It seems like every band's using them these days. Whether it's like a big pop artist, a rock band, tribute acts, even your local cover band probably has some backing tracks in it. So I've set up and run backing tracks for a ton of bands, and I thought I'd talk through today kind of like my very basic setup of how to get these things running if you're in a situation where you're just kind of on the fence starting to think about, whether or not you want to use these. The first step is you got to build your backing tracks. So to do that, you're going to have to think about what elements do you want on the backing track, what elements do you want to be live. This is going to vary depending on band, and then you're going to have to build those elements. So this weekend I'm playing a gig with original artist here in Montreal, Luca. And here's one of the songs that I'm building backing tracks for. Now in this case, Luca's an original artist, so it was really easy for me to just call him, be like, hey Luca, can you send me some stems? And he's like, oh yeah, bud, I'll send them over. So here I have all my stems in front of me. The funny thing is, if you're playing in a cover band or doing a tribute band, you might be able to find stems online for certain instruments. That could be useful, but oftentimes you'll end up building them from scratch. So for that, either, I'll record them, like if I have to play guitar or keyboards. You can also go to websites like Karaoke Version, where people have already made a multi-track of the song. These are usually good enough for live use. I've also recently experimented with using AI splitting, but AI splitting leaves some weird artifacts and it sounds kind of funky. I really wouldn't suggest it if the backing tracks are a huge part of the sound. The song I did it for, there's just some light piano in the background, it's barely noticeable. But getting back to Luca's song here, I have all the stems in front of me, and they're not the album stems. As you can see here, everything's kind of, all the buses are kind of assembled. So, all the bass together, all the guitars together, vocals. Obviously in the real recording, these would be multiple layers. But this makes it really easy for me to build a backing track out of. So thanks Luca and his producer Matt for doing that. So if we take a listen to all the stems together, we get the full song. Now in this band, I'm playing bass obviously, so we don't need bass in the backing track. I'm singing harmonies, we don't need that. I'm just taking out everything we have live. Guitars, we already have 2 guitar players, we don't need any extra guitars. Lead vocal, obviously we have covered. Solo's done. We have a drummer. So really the only thing in this band I need is a synth. Depending on your band, you might be doing every instrument, like if you're a solo singer, maybe you're replacing other elements. Actually, funny enough, tonight we're doing a rehearsal without the drummer, so I will throw drums in later. Then the next step is you want to build a click track. So luckily, Luca records all of his songs to click. I just need to ask him the tempo, and I get a click that's in time with the song. So far, we have our synth, and we have a click track. The click track's constant, I don't have to worry about any tempo fluctuations, that's really nice. Then the next step, and this is optional, is I like to put cues in. So if I go over to here, I get all my loops. And I downloaded the Worship Tools pack for cues and clicks. So the click actually, no, the click I made myself. But yeah, it comes with all these cues built in different time signatures.
Band 2, 3, 4, 5.
And it just counts you into whatever section you're going into. This is really useful because oftentimes with backing tracks, this band, there is quite a bit of just constant backing track. I don't know if there's any, yeah, there's a couple quiet sections like this verse. And it can be really easy to lose count. I play in a heart tribute band, and a lot of those songs, like Magic Man, for example, the first entire half of the song is just completely empty, and there's just some congas at the end. So if you accidentally add a bar somewhere, you're completely thrown off. So I like adding these cues. It just kind of makes it easy for people to know
intro
where the song starts, where different sections are.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
And also, this is important for later. This is specific to Logic and Mainstage, the programs I'm using, but I also add markers for all the sections like verse and chorus. This comes in a little handy later, you'll see why. This just helps you keep organized and figure out where those cues line up. And this is also very extra, but I use the website Narrakeet to do some text to voice. And
Second
I just put the song name in every song. When we're playing live, if someone forgets set list or if you can't see the set list, when the tracks start, or even worse, let's say you accidentally start the wrong track, you get in your ears what the song is going to be. This song's called Second Chance.
Second Chance.
Intro 2, 3,
So immediately, everyone in the band, no matter what's happening with the set list, whatever song we cue, we're all here, oh, it's okay, it's Second Chance, we're ready for that song. So now my backing track is pretty much done. I've done a lot of this work ahead of time. So the method I use, I do mono backing tracks, and I do what I call like the stereo split method. So when we think of stereo, we think of like left ear and right ear. You know, you get two signals, but the signals don't have to be to like your headphones. They could just be two signals. Oftentimes, like in guitar pedals, that's a wet and dry. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the left channel everything the audience hears, the right channel everything we hear. So I'll put the click, cues, and song name in the right earphone, the synth in the left.
Second Chance.
Now, if you're listening on headphones, this is going to sound kind of weird. You'd be like, why is one side this and one side that? But it's not going to be sides when we're done. It's going to be two signals we're going to send independently. So that's pretty much done. So I've already gone ahead and exported this. So now we'll go over to Mainstage and I'll show how I'm running the tracks. Now, when I go over into Mainstage, Mainstage just happens to be the program I use. It came for free on my Mac, or not free, but it came with Logic and everything else. You could use tons of different programs for this. This is just what I'm most familiar with. So here, I've set up a Mainstage concert where each patch is a different song. So if we go to that song, Second Chance, I've actually set up here two playbacks. One is that track we just made. So here it is. You can see the click and cues on one side, the track on the other.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
And if you're using Mainstage, what I like to do is I've set this up so that it plays from the start every single time. And I've made it so that it starts with play action. So that makes things really simple so that, let's say if you're running sound check, you get halfway through a song, you're like, okay, that's good, moving on. When you go to play the show, the track's always going to start from the beginning. You do not want to start halfway through the song. Ask me how I know. And it's also convenient because with just a space
Second Chance.
Intro 2, 3.
And then my second playback here, I've allocated to drums. So like I said, tonight's rehearsal, we don't have drums. Also, sometimes when I'm practicing at home, I want to practice along to the drum track. So I have
Second
it here.
Chance.
Intro
You
2,
can see
3,
when the
4.
song starts, drums come in. But also for live performance, I could just mute that, and that's what I usually do. And then I go into perform mode here. Since the backing tracks are usually being triggered by the drummer, not me, I have things set up as simply as possible. You know, insert your favorite drummer joke here. Haha, drummers aren't smart enough to work backing tracks. No, I'm not saying that. But what I like about Mainstage here is with the arrow keys, you can move up and down really easily. And then
Second
just with the
Chance.
spacebar,
Intro 2,
the song
3, 4.
starts. So, you know, if you're playing drums and you could just reach the laptop with your finger, you don't have to like go and like start searching stuff or scrolling around. And going back to those markers I put in the song earlier, this is a Logic Mainstage thing,
Second
but I really
Chance.
like it.
Intro 2,
because
3, 4.
These
Verse 2, 3,
things
4.
here, these playheads,
Core 2,
actually
3,
move us
4.
through different sections based on
Verse 2, 3,
Logic.
4.
And you could go through the song that way. That's really useful for rehearsals. So like if you want to like, you know, skip to the chorus, for example, you could just skip to that. And then, like I said, every time the song starts from the beginning. So that's all the computer work done. You know, I built a backing track, I split it left, right. I got it into Mainstage. Once again, you're still probably thinking like, why is one ear one thing, one ear is the other? We're gonna get to that now. So mixing this way means I can only send one mono backing track and one click and cues track. A lot of bigger artists will have a multi-track backing track where, like, you know, you could send stereo everything. You have separate keyboards, separate bass drums, all these different layers that you can send independently. To do that, you need a audio interface with multiple outputs, which, you know, is doable. But what I like about this method is the failsafe built in. So when I first started doing this, and this is what I suggest starting with, is with just one of these Y cables where you have this 1/8 inch on one end, 2/4 inches on the other. Just plug this into some DI boxes out of your computer jack, even just out of your iPhone jack, and you can run an entire show just like that. And since I keep all my backing tracks on the cloud, not just in Mainstage, if I like forget my laptop or my laptop's not working or, you know, someone else has to run the show other than me, just with one of these cables, you can run the whole show off of an iPhone, and I have. But these days, I typically do plug my computer into a very basic audio interface with 2 outputs, and I run that into the iBox. So I'll show that now. So here's my in-ear monitor rig that I keep in this Pelican here. Now, this thing looks pretty complicated. I mean, it's what I use to run all my in-ear monitors and everything. I could do a full breakdown of this at some point if any of you guys want, but you'll need all of this to run backing tracks. You can do things a lot simpler. So I'll just go over to the front here to highlight that. So this is what I have set up for my backing tracks. So here I have my USB-C in. That's going to be for my computer to plug into. And then this mess of cables here, this is actually a DI box, a stereo DI box. So what I got is 2 outputs coming off of here. Those go to XLRs in the back, so those go to front of house. And then I got the throughs going into our in-ear monitor mixer. That part you don't really have to worry about. So what I'd say to do here is if you have, and like I said, you could just run that Y cable I showed earlier, or if you have an audio interface into either a stereo DI box or just 2 DI boxes, you can send that to front of house. You can have them mix your monitors for you. It's a little bit riskier. Or you could go the full, split rig. This is a Behringer X16 hooked in backwards in here. But yeah, that's something you could get into as well as mix your own monitors. But at this very least, this will give you click and track. You can send it front of house. You can get them to send those back to you, and you can play your whole show like that. So here you can see I got my laptop plugged in. I have that going to the mixer. I got 2 separate lines. One for click, one for track down here. They're muted right now. Now they're unmuted. That's the track going up, and here's a click going up. And you can see that they're 2 separate parts there. So that's it for the backing track portion of this. Let's go check out how this works in the field. People like this song. How's everyone doing tonight? So as you can see, they worked fine at the gig. So that's how I put backing tracks together. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any other questions about how backing tracks work or anything about music or bass. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Anyways, thanks. Cheers.